All right, so let's talk about exporting to Auto CAD. All right, so a really important reason, or let's see, something that's critical when you're creating construction documents is the ability to work with consultants. So you have to kick them out DWGs or a 3D model or something so that they can work on your drawings, right? So like if you have a structural engineer, I would want to kick this set out as a DWG, and then they're going to import it into probably AutoCAD and then draw their plans over our CAD backgrounds. Now there's a couple different ways to do that. In more recent months or years, I've been just doing a simple export to DWG. So if I export a DWG, I can kick this out of, it's going to export my entire set as a DWG, and I can send that to like desktop temp, and I'll call this our garage, okay? And let's look at the questions it asks. It used to ask us if we wanted to kick out model space or paper space. And I'm remembering that it was always best to kick out model space at 1:1. But what this does now is it just kicks out the whole thing as paper space the whole thing is model space with paper space viewport. So let's just send this out as an AutoCAD 2000 because that seems to be the version that everyone can read. We'll do all of our pages, create DWG, DXF layers from layout layers, not important. You could export invisible layers, we don't have any. And this all looks good to me. Export entities as color by layer. We'll leave that off for now. So we're going to kick this out as our garage file. And I have a program called DraftSite. DraftSite's a freeware, and this is great. If you just need to like do a reality check on your drawings, check out draftsite.com. They have a 2D CAD program. It's really kind of modeled after or closely resembles AutoCAD Architectural Desktop. So I was actually really familiar with that program. So just being able to get around in DraftSite is actually a pretty easy jump. So here's our garage.dwg, and you can see, let's go to model space and take a look at what came out here. So see, we've got like this big drawing here. Let me hit erase. All right, so you can kind of see your line work coming out, right? So this new export that comes out of Layout 2017, I'm not in love with it. I think it came out cleaner. I understand why they did this, but it kind of came out cleaner in years past when you were exporting as that model space choice. But anyway, so it lays out all your pages like that. Now the other way to do this, so maybe now that I've gone and revisited this, I would probably go into SketchUp, and I would create some scenes that I can export out. For instance, I would go to like, let's just say construction plan 01 heavy. All right, do a zoom extents. So what you could do is if your consultants don't care about line weights, which most of them don't, they're not too hung up on your line weights. They're going to take your background drawing and they are going to gray it out, and then they're going to draft on top of it. And they're going to have all their long dash, short dash lines with a bunch of text. So your drawings are kind of playing second fiddle to theirs in that instance. So I think it's okay to just take like construction plan 01 heavy and go over here, and under layers, I'm going to turn on, let's see, what else? There's nothing else that's going to show up for us. So really, I would consider turning on like your floor. You got your floors. Maybe you turn on equipment. Turn on our doors should be on. So doors. So this is actually not in the right layer. That's why it was showing up. Doors and windows should be turned on. So we'll turn on our windows. Okay, like that. All right. So this is kind of the SketchUp vector representation of my entire plan. So what I'm going to do is go to my scenes and click on the plus sign. I'm going to move it all the way to the end. And I'm going to call this one, I title these background, BKGD underscore I'll say floor plan 01, enter. All right. And then I want to make sure all my properties to save are checked on. So now, whenever my consultant asks me for the latest and greatest backgrounds, I'm going to go to background floor plan 01 and hit file, not import. We want to go to file, export 2D graphic, not a 3D model, but a 2D graphic. And we're going to send this out as a DWG. All right. And we're going to call this garage, we'll say SketchUp export. All right, our options here. Again, Auto CAD 2000 is the best, definitely full scale. We don't want to export our profile lines. That's good. We also don't want to export our section lines. Let's see what happens. It's not that we don't want the section lines, it's just we don't want like a thicker line. We don't need that. So we could do a polyline with width. Let's see what that looks like. No extensions, and say OK. All right, so we're going to send this to our desktop under temp, and this is called Garage SKP Export. So I'll hit export, OK. And let's hop back over into draft site and hit open, and here's our SKP export. That is a much cleaner export. So this is definitely on our radar for Condoc, that this process could be automated. And so we're kind of taking a look at that, but this is a really easy file for your structural engineer or any of your consultants to import into CAD, place it, and then start drafting on it. And then when you say, hey, listen, I moved some walls, I changed some things, I need you to update your backgrounds, you just re-export and send them this. They don't even have to know that you're working in SketchUp. So those are, I would definitely opt for this method for exporting. This seems to be, the other export kind of comes out with just too much junk. Like all these, you don't want all these image renders and all that stuff to come out. So I would definitely, moving forward, just stick with this nice, clean, simple vector DWG export from SketchUp. All right, so that's a few tips on exporting for your consultants.